All right, so
Let's do it again.
let's do it again. So hi, this is LD, right? Leighton, I'm a photographer based in San Diego. I do portraits, headshots, boudoir mostly, but I used to do wedding photography and events. And I'm here with one of the guys who has pretty much changed my workflow. This is much better intro, right?
Yeah.
Changed my workflow for the past 2 years. So since 2022, right? With this little magical unicorns, right? You got stay on branding. You got unicorns back here, unicorns in the shirt, unicorns in his heart. I am with Justin from AfterShoot. Now, Justin, tell us about yourself and tell us about AfterShoot.
Cool. So I'm Justin. I'm the co-founder of AfterShoot. I'm a wedding photographer. I'm the kind of all-in. I'm here to make sure photographers get what they need out of their AI culling and AI editing, which is what we do, right? So we're AI culling, AI editing. We want to go through, pre-select images for you. We want to pre-edit your files for you and just get you a lot further along, save you time in that workflow process.
So, before we were talking about some of the changes that AfterShoot has made like in the past 2 years, right? And can you highlight some of those that how lessons learned and how moving forward now it's a better tool for photographers?
Yeah, well, actually, what's really cool about AfterShoot, we're focused on making sure that we're providing the best solution for photographers, but we're including photographers in this whole process, right? So we're not here just saying, okay, let's just do what we want to do. We're saying, hey, what do you guys want us to do? How can we improve your flow? What things do you want to see? So, since we started, we originally started with the AI culling, right? That was back in 2020. We had the beta and then we went live with it in 2021. And then last year we actually went into the beta. So 2023, we launched the beta in January for our editing. But it's all based on what users are asking, right? They're saying, hey, I want to see you guys do editing. I want to see you do this. So you all are the ones who are pushing us. You're pushing us to put the next feature in.
And I would say because there's a Facebook community group, right? Where a lot of people are in. And I will say that you have been very, very responsive in that. And how when somebody asks why can't it do this? And then within weeks, it's able to do that, right?
Yeah.
I will say that I've been very impressed for the most part now on the editing because it has changed. It's gotten better, right?
Yep.
Full disclosure, I shoot with both Nikon and full frame Fuji, or not full frame Fuji, medium format Fuji. And a lot of times if I'm doing a headshot shoot or whatever, I'll put them together. And with the exception of the camera profiles, the editing has been very, very consistent. There's things I would have to change and go back, but to bring out exposure, to bring out, just certain different things to make it ready to go to the next level in Photoshop, it's always been really, really good for me to do that. So the question I was going to ask now is that when it comes to profiles, do I still need, and this is reason why I said I may be doing it wrong. For my workflow, I'll cull, I'll select, and then I'll edit everything that was in that catalog.
Yeah.
Because it tends to be faster, just in case when I'm going through, for whatever reason, there's something that it's going to grab that's already edited.
Yeah.
The question I was going to ask is that I know before I would need a color profile. And a black and white profile. Right? Is there any way, is that still the case, one? And then two, what would be the solution for if I wanted 25% of my wedding photos to be black and white, right? Is there any little words to where the AI will determine, hey, this is a high emotion thing. You know what, we'll do it a black and white treatment on this or whatever, as opposed to what we would do is hey, this is a bad low light shot. I'm going to put it black and white.
Yeah. So, I think right now it is still that way. You need to have separate separate color and separate black and white profiles. It's just, the AI is not smart enough and I don't think it will be, right? Because even myself, I couldn't tell you what I'm going to put in black and white. Sometimes it's like, hey, that's just a bad photo. But what I actually started doing, because we have this AI capabilities, it's unlimited. I'm actually just delivering a color gallery and a black and white gallery because I don't have to pay per image. I have a great black and white profile. It does what I need it to do. I don't have to tweak or do anything to it really, right? So I do my color edits and then I'll, make a virtual copy of the ones I want to make black and white, which is a lot more than 25% now because I don't have to do the work. So I'm I'm going to make 50% of these black and white. I just make a virtual copy. I'll pop back into AfterShoot. I'll just run the files through on the black and white profile and then I export everything after that.
But that does count as a second user profile though for that black and white. Correct?
That's correct. It is a second user profile.
Unless you're using like the founders or the
yeah, if you're a founders or max, you get the 5 profiles. If you're on the pro plan, you get the 1 profile. But we do have the free marketplace profiles. So there are profiles that they're black and white ones in there as well.
So without even going too more in depth about free marketplace profiles and other things, because I want to ask questions that a lot of people ask you at booth.
Yeah.
That, which goes beyond marketing and sales.
Yeah.
So I'll go to a little bit, I don't want to say negative, but what would you say are 3 limitations that AfterShoot has right now that whether, without giving up the recipe that you're looking for, but hey, this is the 3 limitations that we have right now?
Yeah. It's a great question. So I think the three biggest limitations we have right now, first one, when it comes to culling, AI is not creative, right? I mean, it's not even close to being creative. It's a very black and white system. It's yes or no or maybe, right? So for us, we're always delivering more photos than you need because we can't say, oh, that's the bride's grandma. Make sure you give that photo, even though it's a little bit softer and has bad emotion or whatever it is, but it's a valuable photo, right? So we don't have that context. We don't have those sort of things. So from a culling standpoint, that's a limitation because if you're going to deliver 800 photos, we're going to give you, out of 5,000, we're going to give you like 1,500 because we're trying to show you one of everything. I shoot Nikon. I'm sorry. I shoot Nikon, sorry Nikon, but a lot of them are, oh, you do too. So a lot of photos come in out of focus. So because I have so many out of focus photos in a row.
It's a trend.
Yeah, it's a trend, exactly. But that's the thing, the AI doesn't know, okay, you took 4 photos that were out of focus. Was that creative? Was that intentional? Are you a Nikon shooter? Are you a bad photographer? We don't know those things, right? So that's a limitation and it's going to show you it because how mad would you be if you had a really great photo that didn't appear because it was blurry? But you really want that photo. So that's limitation number 1. Limitation number 2, I think realistically is just how far an advanced tech can be at this point. We're exponentially growing and exponentially expanding what we're doing. We're always updating algorithms and creating new things. But at the same time, there's only so much that tech can do right now, right? So we're kind of limited by the overall scale. Everybody is, right? Everyone in the industry is kind of hitting this plateau where now, let's say I'm 80% accurate, it's easy to go to 81%, but to get to 90%, it's exponentially harder, right? 90% to 91% becomes exponentially harder from there. So the closer you get to good, the harder it is to get the next tech to get to that point. But fortunately, we do have some of the best tech. We have really amazing engineers. I want to shout them out because no one ever talks about the real unicorns here. That, we have real unicorns behind the scenes actually doing this right there. We have 47 people just rocking it and doing these algorithms, working extremely hard to make sure that we're updating and staying on, having the newest tech and everything. And then limitation number 3 is probably just getting people here, right? I mean, getting people into the product and helping them understand how beneficial it is once you learn it, right? It's hard to say, oh, I'm going to change what I do, right? If you're coming from a photo mechanic, you're like, oh, I don't want to go do a whole new thing. I got to learn a system. But really, once you learn it, it'll change your life.
Well, you say photo mechanic because I know that we have tabs now. We have a way that we can now do culling without even actually having to do the whole import and everything straight from it. So that leads me to say, what is the 3 advantages that AfterShoot has still in the market right now above whether it's a photo mechanic, whether it is a online AI-based culling system or whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, you're really limiting me to 3. I got a lot of them, but if I got to pick 3 big advantages, I think number 1 is the tech.
Right.
We've been working on culling since 2019. That's when this whole project started. That's the hardest problem to solve. You could work at it so hard. We do every week. And it's hard to advance further, right? So having that huge advantage to be able to get culling so much further along, it just sets us worlds apart. Other things that are really important to the product, I mean, it's unlimited culling. It's all local on your machine. I mean, data privacy is a big concern. If you're a boudoir photographer, if you're doing school portraits, those images, you don't want them on a server somewhere. You want them to stay local because there's a lot of laws passing right now, right? Now you have to actually disclose what AI companies are touching your images because schools want to know. People want to know, are their children's images online somewhere? Can they be used for generative AI stuff? And while, yes, servers are usually secure, I'm sure there's probably some way to hack into some of these, right? So you have to be worried. What happens if that happens? If you're using an online-based AI company, does your data, is it possible? Can it get stolen?
Right.
And if so, where does it go? And if you can't get 100% guarantee that it's locked down because it's not connected to Wi-Fi, you're going to be struggling with that. So,
All right. And so, real quick, so then when we are editing inside of AfterShoot, right, before we get to the last number one.
oh wait, you didn't let me get number 3. Oh, okay, all right. Good.
Before we get into that, because I know I get an email sometimes that says, hey, your gallery has been culled. Hey, your gallery has been edited, right? What actually gets sent back and forth? Is it just the check marks just to say, hey, you're still a subscriber, you're still part of the AfterShoot family? And is it just oh, by the way, this is done, this job is done with notifications?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. First with the culling, and if you want the culling to learn from your decision-making process, that you have to leave on. That would upload some thumbnails, right? Okay. So it's going to tell us what you're changing, what sort of revisions you're making to your cull, so we can learn from that and build your own AI models that understand you better, right? If you turn that off, there's absolutely nothing that goes up to the internet. Nothing goes up to the cloud. It's only those check marks saying, hey, your cull is completed, right? So the software gets an internal note. It says, hey, kick this email out because their cull completed or their edit's completed.
And so, okay, thanks for that. So, and what is the number one, or technically number 3, but what's the number one advantage of using AfterShoot?
Yeah, so number 1 right now, that's going to be our tab bar. So you mentioned it already, right? We're importing your images. We can cull your images. We can edit your images before you ever get into Lightroom. But it's not just stopping at Lightroom Classic, right? We do Capture One, we do Lightroom Classic, we do Adobe Camera Raw. So you could actually do portrait sessions, drag and drop that file right into Photoshop and start Photoshopping on these files. You can bring it into Bridge. I know a lot of people are Bridge users, right? It's all native with any Adobe product now, which is really, really cool.
Wow. All right. So real quick before we go, we talked a lot about it, but the rest of us, like we got money or a little bit of it. And how much of that little bit of money do we have will it take to adopt AfterShoot or come into it?
Yeah.
Is there any kind of training programs or assistance that is done there? And also, are there any specials that from the show or after the show? Or can somebody just shout out me and say, hey, some guy with some Cheerio shirt said that, hey, about AfterShoot, like what can it get? Like what are you talking about as far as?
Yeah, so I mean, first, I love it. You said adopting. We're going to adopt the unicorns on this. But really, pricing wise, there's a couple different packages, right? If you're looking at culling only, you're looking at $120 a year, right? So it's AI culling, all you can cull. We have these marketplace profiles, right? So if you don't want to build your own AI style, it's only $240 a year to have culling and editing. All you can cull, all you can edit. But then to get up to your own AI profile, that first AI profile of your own, that's $480 a year, right? So you're getting $480 a year, a profile. All the free profiles are included in that. Unlimited, cropping, straightening, masking launches in 2 weeks, right? All of these things are all included. So it's not, upcharges all over the place. And then of course there's the max plan, which is your top tier, which is $720. Now show specials, if they shout your name out, I'm gonna give them 25% off.
That's a lot. That's 25%.
Yeah.
That is a lot, right?
And the way I look at it, if it's gonna cost me $480, right? 25% off. To have my style, I'm down to $360, right? So for $360 a year, that's less than a session for me, right? I'm $400 for a family session, right? So less than a session, I can edit every wedding, every engagement, every family session, every headshot, everything. All of it, as much as I want for that one session price, which is insane.
And I give a different perspective to this. So when I did weddings, right? Still use the same outsourced company, but I don't outsource calling to them anymore, obviously. But it would cost me about $260 a wedding to outsource and to get them back in 4 days, right? The limit to that was 1,500 images to cull down. So I would have to take my 3,000 images from me and my second shooters and whatever, cull it down to 1,500 to send it off to get that to 260. So for less than 2 weddings, right, what it would cost me anyway, the sunk cost, I can have AfterShoot for a year. Right. And obviously every wedding, every shoot, every event that you do, the cost per image goes less and less because it's flat rate. I personally feel right now, if you are a photographer that is that is still calling your own, you're still starting out, especially if you're a mirrorless camera user, because with the mirrorless cameras, what you see is what you get.
Yep.
So your shot selection is probably be better than if you're when you're DSLR. But the thing about it is what I say is this: for $120 for calling alone, you can do an event. Oh, and I said 4-day turnaround, right?
Yeah.
That's
gone.
I've got sessions called and edited in less than an hour, right? You know what I mean? And especially when I turn that little turbo boost on at the top that says max resources, do it right now. And so to me, I would say that's one of the things where I financially it has changed my overhead model and my overhead cost to where, yeah, every once in a while I'll have a friend, a photographer that says, hey, can you bail me out? I shot this wedding back in December. It's February. I need to deliver it like next week. And I'm like, uploaded it, boom, boom, done. He probably doesn't want to hear this, but they don't sponsor me, so therefore I can say whatever I want to say. But I'm sharing it because I actually use that. And to me, there are a lot of different options. I'm a fan of outsourcing. I'm a fan of having somebody else call. I'm a fan of using AI as a tool to increase the profitability in your business. At this show, everybody's trying to sell you something. I have been coming to this show since 2009 from the road shows all the way to here. This is the biggest, most packed I've seen this trade show floor since probably Mandalay Bay.
Yep.
Right. And I don't know when we were at MGM, we had 2 big, right? So everybody here is trying to sell something. This is one of the solutions that I feel it actually puts money back into your pocket because it helps you refine your good work and get it to your clients in a manner that you don't have to procrastinate. And while I love procrastinating, here's a tip. If you wait till the last minute, it only takes you a minute.
Yep.
Right? But this allows you to get it out right away and better service your customers, service your clients. So with that, I want to thank you for co-founding this, right?
Yeah.
I want to thank you for always responding. And I've sent you emails and DMs. I've sent the DMs like, hey, why come? But, thank you for sitting with us. And I know I didn't want to talk too much over them, but, thank you so much.
No, I
and is there
appreciate
anything else that you want to put out before we go?
No, I'm just happy you came by. I mean, really, we love our users. We're really community based. We have that 24/7 in-app support, right? We're always just striving to be the best company we can be. We want to uplift this industry and help it grow. We want to give photographers time back, right? Backstory, I'll tell you another time, but I was a way too busy wedding photographer. I was missing out on too many life events and all sorts of craziness. And for me, this is what changed all of that. So now I'm here, like it's 3 hours, start to finish, culling, editing, wedding delivered, right? So that's insane. And the things you can do with that, whether you're going to market your business, take on more sessions. For me, it's just, I want to spend time with my kids. So getting something back, it's priceless. So thank you for interviewing me. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. All right.
You're the best.
And I need a 4X shirt because those shirts are too tight.
All right. I got to mail it to you. I'm out. But I got you.
All right. Thank you. Like Fat Kid in Dodgeball. I'm out.